guys, it's Amy, and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. I want to thank you so much for your time. You didn't have to click on my video today, but I thank you very much for doing so. I've got one finished object to share with you today, and then some other just chit chats, maybe some housekeeping if that's what you want to call it. I just want to thank you first and foremost if you have ever watched one moment of my video, if you have ever liked or commented or even subscribed to my channel. Thank you so very much. I say it and it feels kind of like a broken record maybe, I don't know, but I am just blown away at the love and support this community has shared with me, and I never could have imagined it. This is my imagination on steroids, even if I had the imagination to begin with, which I didn't. So I'm having an absolute blast, and I thank you so very much for making it what it is. I want to say welcome back to Kayla. We missed you for a little bit, and so hopefully we'll see you doing some more crafty things. Kayla Makes It. I'll link her down below. And hey, fiber friends, Greg, thank you so much for talking about me on your channel, about the project that you were working on. I appreciate you trying out my channel, not only trying out my channel, but loving my channel and creating projects for my tutorials or for my mentions or anything like that. I really love how the network works around here. You know, sometimes people have said my name on their channel and I don't even know it, and then other people come to me and subscribe to me, and that love just transfers and is connected and all around. So thank you so much, you guys. Also, personal congratulations to K&K Crochet. If you know, you know. I'm not going to tell you their wonderful news, but I'll let you go check that out from them. So all three of those guys are going to be listed down below. Appreciate you guys so much. And if you do have a channel and I have not mentioned your name here, please do know that I do appreciate you guys so much. And I try to take a look back at your channels as well. But there really is just, and subscribe, but there just really isn't enough time in the day. I mean, we all know that as a regular human being, but as a crocheter, I feel that tenfold. And then as a content provider, you know, I want to do more. I feel like right now, every 4 days is maybe enough to keep me in your mind. You know, maybe you'll miss me after 3 days and then 4th day, here comes a video. But I don't have the time to do it every day. If I could do it every day, would I? I don't know, you know. That's how much I love it. So I want to say, yes, I would. I've got over 150 videos so far, and I'm coming around April. It'll be 2 years since I've had my channel. So I think I have a lot to say already, and I just hope that that flow continues. So into that line of talk, I record when I can. Basically, Saturday mornings is my recording time, and what I need to do if I want to do it every 4 days, if I want to post a video every 4 days, I need to record at least 2 videos on Saturday, right? Math. But then something like this comes up and I want to talk more about more recent stuff. Or obviously if I ever had a sale to mention or something like that, it would go up quickly. But so I've got a couple of videos that are already uploaded to YouTube and just scheduled to post at a later date. But this one I'm going to stick up in front of that. So if you see something here, spoiler alert, don't look. I wanted to mention that answering my comments in a timely manner is important to me. And I'm frustrated that I don't get as much time to do that as I would like to. But I did want to give a special shout out to Missy. Thank you so much for continuing to dig. Missy asked about my basket tutorial in 2 different points. And then on the 3rd came back to say she'd actually found my tutorial. And, you know, good for you to not wait around for me on the schedule that I'm at right now. You know, I do have a handful of tutorials out there that I think are really good ones that are, you know, my faves or whatever. I wouldn't have taken on the tutorial if it wasn't something that I felt comfortable with that you would enjoy as well. So if you see a video that mentions a blanket or a pattern or something and you'd be interested, I do have some tutorials out there. I'm no crystal, but you know, I do my best. So thank you, Missy, for continuing to dig through my stuff. And I absolutely appreciate anytime anybody goes back and watches a previous video. You know, what's now is good and you watch me going forward, but if you like what I do, then, you know, maybe look back. I have a series called What's in That Tote. That's kind of how I started, with some totes that I had that, you know, kicked around for a while. I didn't have any idea what was in them. What's in that tote? I don't know. Is it supplies? Is it old makes? Is it things I didn't finish? Stuff like that. So that might be something fun for you to look through as well. Those were in the beginning months of, you know, me posting videos. So you'll see more of a green Amy at that point. Maybe I'm still green. I don't know. Anyway, so thanks to Missy. And then somebody mentioned, and I apologize if I don't remember, whoops, if I don't remember who that was. My last video, I talked about these two cowls that are made from my Ella Rae Chunky, Cozy Soft Chunky yarn. And it's basically the same stitch, except this one is made with double crochets and a single crochet. And this one is made with treble crochets and a double crochet. So you can, and a couple more repeats. So you can see how the different, the compact one is versus the one with some laciness in it. And someone said, what would they look like together? Because this one is kind of thick enough that, or tall enough that you can wear it a couple of different ways. So I wanted to show you that one. So you can leave it all kind of loose like that and, you know, be kind of whatever. Or you can fold it over and have it a little bit more controlled. If you want to put this one on at the same time, I'm looking for the back and I didn't see it rather quickly. So kind of interlink those around. Look how much fullness you can have there. You know, if this color just really sparks it for you, and then you get inside the office, you know, you've walked from your car to the office or whatever, you get inside, and then you want to just take one of them off and leave one of them on. You certainly could do that and still have a little bit of coziness going on here. So I'm trying to answer some comments, and I thought that this was a good time to present the look of the both of them worn together. And then this one could also, you know, if you weren't going to do double cowls, you could create this kind of a look as well. And then you've got like a hooded and a cowl. So you're nice and cozy here and have the top as well. All right, good idea, guys. Thanks for taking me on places, you know, when you mention things that I wouldn't have thought of. I love that we share that with the channel and the community that we're building here. I wanted to thank all the people who corrected me on the pronunciation of this word here. This superwash blue-faced Leicester is what this is called, and I chopped it up. When I saw it and heard Google tell me how to say it, I thought I would remember when I got on camera, and I did not. So thank you for sharing that with us. It was new to me. I don't know if you've heard of that before. There's a couple towns named it, both in England and in the United States from settlers. So that was new to me. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. Look at the yarn again, right? Just another look at that. It's just so gorgeous. So if you didn't see the last video where I talked about this, it's a different type of sheep. And the wool that comes from merino wool, a merino sheep, it is going to be a little bit softer. But this one is going to be a little bit more sturdy, and the fibers are going to be a little bit longer, and it says that it'll have a sheen on it. I don't quite see that in this kind of off-white color, but the colors are just gorgeous. And I still have to, I told you I was going to order that gray to go with it, and I forgot to do that. This is reminding me I need to do that. Okay. I also discussed with you doing a shawl that had the name Peach in it. And I was so excited that as I was talking about it, I realized what yarn I wanted to use to make that project. But then I got to picking up the yarn and found that these are two of the same name skeins, and I certainly cannot use them together. You do see a whole lot more purplish maroons in this one. But it's a lot more orange. I'm trying to share that with you as well. Maybe it's not coming out as much. You know, when you're using, when you're using hand-dyed yarns, you're going to get different, not only different dye lots, but even if it was in the same dye lot, no two are ever the same. Now, these are the same dye lot, but that's just how it works, you know? So I decided that the peach, I was all excited about doing a peach named shawl with some peachy colored yarn, and that's not going to happen. So that peach shawl is going to go on the back burner for a little bit longer. Besides that, I looked at some other yarns that I have. If I'm not mistaken, the one that peach shawl is in sport weight, and I need 325 yards, and I don't have anything that I want to apply to that at this time. So we'll put that on the back burner for now. So in dropping a project that's going to be on my radar, or, you know, something I thought I was going to do, you guys know I've said before how crazy I get if I'm between projects. I have to have something to work on. And if I have to stand here and stare at this wall and decide what's going to get used, I sometimes lose my mind. So I want to shout out Jude for Llamas and Pajamas. Thank you so very much for your recent Whips and Foes video. I was watching it, and not only do I have a yarn up here in my loops and threads, silky, soft and shiny, whatever that is. It's the, like the Karen soft and shiny. I'm not going to ruin her video, so go check that one out. You didn't know what to do with that yarn. I just touched that and said, what the heck am I going to do with this? And then your video came up. So you inspired me. I want to motivate and inspire people to use what's in my stash that I didn't know what to do with, and now I came up with something, and your video inspired me to use something in my stash that I didn't know what to do with. So thank you very, very much. As well as the blanket that you were making for Mr. Pajamas. I think that that is kind of the idea that I want to go with my yarn of a crazy color. So thank you for that. We inspire and motivate and continue to encourage each other, and I just love that so, so very much. And the last thing that I want to talk about based from my comments is, and again, I apologize. It's not like I'm that big that I can't remember who said what, who left what comments, but it was asked about how I keep my notes. And if you haven't seen me talk about it before, my pattern. So if I'm watching a video tutorial, I will sit and write down in Amy terms what the person is saying so that I can take that written pattern. I create a written pattern from the tutorial, and then I can go back and work on that at any time. I use these tiny little paper clips that have a fuzzy on them. These tiny little paper clips that I got at the Dollar Tree or something. And I mark what row I'm on as I'm working. So, for example, this one is the hexagon blanket that I have worked on before from Hooked by Robin. And I put the name of the person or the name of the video channel over here. And then I will start, this means magic ring, I chain 2, which equals a DC plus a DC. And then my repeat I've got in brackets. That may not be new to any of you. Written patterns, I mean, it kind of goes along like a written pattern would, but then I sometimes draw myself a little picture, you know, so that I can see a little diagram. If I need to leave myself a certain Amyism, I make sure to say that, because if you're working on multiple projects at one time, you may have one that has a chain 1 and one project that uses a chain 2. I can get really confused on certain tiny, tiny little aspects like that. And next thing you know, my project's going to be all crazy. So I do this just as a reminder. I may not be following it the entire project, but I can quickly refer back to whether it was a chain 1 or a chain 2, and I don't have to go back and dig out that video. So I appreciate rewatches on tutorials. That you know, definitely supports the channel, but sometimes I just need to see it in Amy terms. You know, some people can't read a real pattern, you know, a real written pattern, and so watching a tutorial and just writing it out in your own jargon is a great way to start, you know, working off of a paper, because some people just work off of the tutorial. So another one here that I've got that I like to show, I do sometimes to tell myself that it's a bulky weight. I do a little 5 there in a circle. Sometimes you can see there isn't much to the pattern. There's just a little bitty couple of row repeat. There's only 2 rows in this one. So then here's one that's a little bit more engaged, and these are all free patterns, so I'm not giving out anybody's secrets. These are all free tutorials or free patterns on people's blogs. So this one is one from K&K Crochet Design. That's my green olive shawl for my uncle's shawl. And so I've gone in and copied and pasted from the blog what they say the directions are. I can't read when I have it in there. So sometimes there's a whole lot of words. So like it says, Like it tells you what chain space. It might say in the chain 3 space, do a double crochet. Well, the words chain 3 throw me off. I know where that's going to go once I get going, once I read it. So I create like a little short version of my repeats. So you can see like in row 7, that chain 5, and then, what am I backwards? Single crochet, chain 3, single crochet are both circled. Because the pattern was kind of similar, I need to grab certain things like that that remind me which row I'm on just at a glance. So it's like I start with this giant thing and then work it down, work it down, work it down, and then I've got my little, I lost my paper clip, and then I move my little paper clip just along here as I do the next row so that I can easily look up at any time and see what is my next work. So that's how I take notes of patterns. As far as which projects I've worked on, I've got a little composition book, old cheapy composition book that I have left over from my kids' school supplies. Like I didn't even go out and buy this, but whatever. I just keep kind of notes like this. And so I'll insert the picture because I can't see it backwards. So for example, on October 31st, I started what's called the Jaqua cowl. It's a size 4 worsted weight yarn, and I saw it from Sarah Satch, and she used I 5.5 millimeter hook. And then I say what yarn I used was the Soft and Shiny by Loops and Threads. It was Robin's Egg color, and I wrote yuck because I didn't care for that one very much. The V off to the side just tells me that I talked about it on a video, or I made a video about it. And then the next one, you know, my midwife shawlette is from Fiber Spider 5 millimeter hook. I used my Zeman Super Soft yarn, and it's Drapey Loosey Goosey Mellow. So, oh no, I wrote Drapey Loosey Goosey, meh. I'll make a little comment if I love something or if I don't. This next one is the Pixie Shawlette. The yarn that I used is the Felici Yarn Knit Picks that I dyed. The Felici yarn from Knit Picks that I dyed, it's a size 1, so that's what the 1 circle is for. And then the colors that are involved, if it, you know, this one was the one that I dyed, so it doesn't have a name. But if it has a name that doesn't make any sense to me, I will write out what the colors are just so that I can remember what that project was. And then I write the hook size that I used just so that I always know. So that's how I keep mine. Let me see if there's one that's a little bit more. Okay, here's another one. Here's one where I started a beanie, my go-to beanie, and then I made a bunch of different ones. So it's all kind of cramped in there together, and I make some little notes about how much yarn I might have used or what changes I might have used. So the Hobby Lobby Hanks, the colors were Floral Frenzy, Meadow Majestic, and Electric. And so I was able to make 2 hats out of each of the first colors and just 1 out of the Electric. And because I made changes in the pattern, I used a different amount of weight. So 71 grams, 59 grams. And then the 74 grams is as the pattern was. So that tells me I didn't change. If I stuck exactly to the pattern, it would take me 74 grams of yarn. So, and then below that, Big Twist Premium, 4 but fat. So sometimes our 4s are a little bit fat and we can use it as a bulky, or vice versa. If it's a, you know, rated a 5, but we think it's kind of thin, you can use it as a 4. So anyway, so that's how I keep my book on what patterns I've made. And then I can just always, you know, flip back through the pages and, you know, when I'm going to talk about something and refer to something else, it's right there. So I can flip back and say, in August, I made this cowl. And then in, you know, the following March, I made a scarf that went with it or whatever. So that's how I keep all my notes. Alrighty, enough gabbing. The finished project that I have to share with you today, as you saw from the thumbnail, is using Mandala watercolors. This is a discontinued yarn, so I apologize if I make you want some and you don't have any. But my process is to help you identify projects that you can make with the yarn that's already in your stash. So, having said that, if you want to go to yarnsub.com, that's where you can put in a yarn that's discontinued, and it will come back with how much of a percentage match other yarns could be with that yarn. Maybe it'll tell you about the difference in fibers or the difference in density of the yarn, so that you can make some choices on what's still available to purchase and use for that project. So anyway, the Mandala watercolors, this one happens to be called Icy Grape, and they come in a 3.5 ounce ball, which is 100 grams for 164 yards. It is 75% acrylic and 15% wool and 10% nylon. It is a roving type, so it might get a little bit thick and a little bit thin. You can see the thickness of the strand, and it's very squishy. This is very, very squishy yarn. So what I had were 2 full cakes and then some scraps that I separated into 2 halves. So I had a cake and 80 grams and a cake and 75 grams. And so I knew I wanted to work on a corner-to-corner blanket, which means I just work up until I'm done with half of the yarn, and then I know to decrease and I'll have a complete project. So this project happens to be about 325 grams, and it measures about 27 by 27. I did not put a border on it. And the striping is just whatever happens within the cake. I did not do any color controlling, as you can see. And what is not showing up, I don't think that you can see it very well, is the brown color that's in here. See, like right here, you can see a little bit of some tan color coming out. It's really pretty. It's not just white and purple. There are different ombres of purple. Let me hold it right side up. There are different ombres of purple and pink, and then the white and the tan kind of come and go as well. So I'll take a picture on my countertop where you can see it in bright kitchen light so that you can see how pretty it is. But I really like it, and you don't need to put any kind of a border on it, because with this particular project you get, see, upside down Amy, always, you get this, no, that was right. You get these kind of chain spaces along the edge. See these? So it kind of gives a little bit of a pattern. You know, it doesn't, I don't think it has like that ugly edge look. So it's, I wouldn't call it scalloped, but you can kind of see here that it's really up to you whether you wanted to add a border to it. If I had a bunch more yarn, would I have added a border? I still don't think so. I'm not going to say that I'm lazy, but why cover up an edging that isn't ugly? I don't think that it necessarily needs a finish just to have a finish, you know? So this was my lovely, beautiful moss corner to corner, and I watched Blossom Crochet do this tutorial. If you know me, you know I love a corner to corner blanket, and to find other stitches in the corner to corner, I think is just really a great find. I've already worked on some corner to corner granny squares, and so I've got those waiting to put together from a long time ago. But yeah, so I just recently did that moss blanket. I'll put that link up here if you haven't seen that video. And so I thought that this would be a good kind of follow-up to do in trying to use up my mandala yarn. So I just got this little bit left. I think it's about 30 grams or so. And I have scraps that are a 4 weight, and then I have scraps from bulky weight yarn. So I'll put that in that bundle and come up with a wacky, bulky blanket at some point. So, all right, guys, thanks for sitting with me today. I really do appreciate your time. Have a wonderfully blessed day, and please come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.